Add-on Solutions. Add-on Desire.
Hello viewers, welcome to Adult Solutions Daily Current Affairs session. I am Lokesh Pengonda. This session is designed mainly for aspirants preparing for banking, groups and such other examinations. We cover news articles from both the Hindu and the Indian Express, so make a use of it. Our first article is talking about Mr. Biden lifting sanctions imposed by the Trump administration on the top officials of the International Court or the International Criminal Court. First, we'll understand about the sanctions. Why were the sanctions imposed by the Trump administration on the officials of the International Criminal Court? International Criminal Court has stated that it will investigate the possible human rights violations in Afghanistan by the Taliban, Afghan government and the US government forces. So, the International Criminal Court has stated that it will investigate the possible human rights violations done by the Taliban, which is a rebel group in Afghanistan, and the Afghanistan forces and the United States forces which are in the Afghanistan. The Trump administration has stated that as the United States is not a member to the International Criminal Court, it will not have any jurisdiction to investigate the offenses or the possible human rights violations did by the United States administration. So, the Trump administration has effectively said, as we are not a member country in this organization, you cannot investigate the United States related human rights offenses. And they have sanctioned the International Criminal Court. Now we will see the International Criminal Court. This is the first permanent treaty-based International Criminal Court. So what is treaty-based? It states that only the member countries which have accepted to be members of this organization, only for them this jurisdiction will be applicable. So it is the first permanent treaty-based International Criminal Court. Where is it located? It is located in the Hague. Where is the Hague? It is in the country of Netherlands. And it was established in the year 2002 by the Rome Statute. Under the Rome Statute, which is an agreement, this International Criminal Court was set up in the year 2002. And it does not have retroactive powers or the retrospective powers. So what is retroactive powers? It is, as the organization started or the organization was set up in 2002, only the crimes which happened after the 2002 July 1st will be applicable for this organization. That is, only if a crime, if it happens after July 1st of 2002, only for these crimes can this International Criminal Court can investigate. So whatever crimes happened before the 2002, this criminal court cannot investigate these crimes. This is called as no retrospective or no retroactive powers. Next, what is the main function of this International Criminal Court? It investigates and tries individuals charged with the gravest crimes of the concern to the international community. So, whoever individuals get charged with gravest human rights related crimes, only they can be investigated by this organization. We should note that International Criminal Court will only investigate and will only trial individuals, but not countries. Not countries, but only individuals. So what are some gravest human rights related crimes? It can be genocide, it can be war crimes, it can be crimes against humanity and the crime of aggression. Next, so how does this organization get funds for its administration, for its running? It gets funding from the member countries, that is, whoever are the members of this organization, they will provide funds, and also it accepts voluntary donations by individuals and also by international organizations. So is India a member country? Is India a part of this International Criminal Court? The answer is no. India, China, United States and also many countries are not part of this ICC. This is mainly because if India is a part of International Criminal Court, then the International Criminal Court can interfere in the internal affairs of the India. So to prevent interference by a third party or a external organization, India did not join this organization. Next, we have an article talking about Sophia. It is stated that this robot, which sold a painting worth nearly 5 crores or nearly this amount, is planning to shift to the musical career. Before going into the Sophia robot, we need to understand an important thing with Sophia. Sophia is the first robot which got citizenship in the world. That is, this is the first robot in the entire world which got citizenship, and this citizenship is given by a country called as Saudi Arabia. So what is Sophia? Sophia is a social humanoid robot. It was developed by an organization called as Hanson Robotics. And where is this firm or where is this company located? It is located in the Hong Kong region. So a Hong Kong based firm called as Hanson Robotics has made this robot Sophia. This is what this article all about. Next, we have an article talking about the Al-Shabaab militants attacking 2 army bases in Somalia. So where is Somalia located? Somalia is located in the Horn of Africa, and you can see the image that this is a part of Indian Ocean. So it is bordering Indian Ocean and it is lying in the eastern part of the Africa. So Somalia is a country in the eastern part of Africa. It is bordering Indian Ocean and it is located in the Horn of Africa. Also, you should remember that Somalia's capital is Mogadishu. This Al-Shabaab, which is a militant organization, has been attacking the army bases of Somalia. So Al-Shabaab is a militant organization, Mogadishu is a capital of Somalia. Next, we have an article talking about the Chenab Arch Bridge. You can see in this image that a bridge is being constructed on the Chenab River in the Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory. So why are we talking about a bridge in the Jammu and Kashmir region? Because it will be the world's highest rail bridge. You can see in this image that this bridge is above 359 meters from the ground, and you can see in this image that the Eiffel Tower is nearly 324 meters, whereas this bridge is 359 meters above the ground. So it is taller than the Eiffel Tower, and the importance is it connects the 2 ways of the Chenab River, and as the bridge is constructed over the Chenab River, the rail can pass from point A to point B, and this will lead to better connectivity. So you should only note that this is on the river Chenab. It is in the height of 359 meters. It is in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, and it will be the world's highest rail bridge. Next, we have an article talking about COVID. COVID is also called as COVID Vaccine Intelligence Network. So what does CoWIN do? CoWIN is a cloud-based IT platform. It is being used to handle even the minute details regarding India's COVID-19 immunization program. So what does COVID do? It covers all the related information regarding the COVID-19 immunization program. So you can register for COVID vaccination in this application. Also, this application will be used to know the real-time update on the number of people who got vaccinated. Also, this will in real time show the amount of vaccines left in various organizations, in various hospitals. Also, this will send messages to those registered people asking them to go to a particular place for getting their vaccine done. So these are various aspects, various functions of the CoWIN application. Now we will see the background and the agencies involved in it. The CoWIN platform is owned by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. This application or this platform was earlier used for other vaccination drives as well, such as the polio campaign and other immunization drives. So this platform, which was already in use from last few years, is used for polio vaccination and other immunization programs. So this is not just for COVID but also for other vaccinations as well. Now it is just expanded for COVID-19 vaccination, earlier for polio and other immunization vaccines. Also you should note that the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology and also the National Informatics Center. So the MeitY and the NIC will be running the background infrastructure for this COVID application. So this is owned by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and this is being held by the MeitY and the NIC when it comes to the background operations. Next we have an article talking about ULFA-I. So what is ULFA-I? It stands for United Liberation Front of Assam. This is an armed separatist organization. So you can say that this is kind of terrorist or separatist organization. So what is the purpose and what is the objective of this organization? Its objective is to establish an independent state of Assam. That is, as Assam is a part of India, this organization aims to establish Assam as an independent country which is separate from India. So this is the objective of Assam. So if you have a question which is asking about ULFA-I, then you should note that this is a separatist armed organization working in the northeastern part of the country. Next we have an article talking about the digital currency push in the China. Earlier we have seen that China has released his digital currency called as digital currency electronic payment, or the digital RMB. So what is digital RMB? Digital RMB is the digital Chinese currency which is renminbi. So China is piloting this digital currency in its own country. So if you have a question which is talking about the digital currency electronic payment which is launched newly by a country, then the answer would be China. Next we have an article talking about the president. So we will see what are the qualifications for election of the president and how the president is elected, and also the various powers of the president in this session. So what are the qualifications for getting elected as the president or for standing in the election of the president? First, he or she should be a citizen of the country. They should be more than 35 years old. He should be eligible to be elected as the MP of Lok Sabha, and he should not hold any office of profit. That is, he should not be a employee of the state or the central or any public sector enterprise related governments. So a person who is a citizen of India, a person who is above 35 years of age, a person who has the eligibility to become the member of the Lok Sabha, a person who is not working under the state government or the central government or under any public sector enterprises, then he is eligible to be standing for the election of the president. So these are the qualifications for standing in the election of the president. Now we'll see the election process, that is how president is elected. President is elected by the elected members of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and also elected MLAs of both states and union territories. That is, only those members who were directly elected by the people in the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and as MLAs of both states and the union territories with legislative assemblies such as National Capital Territory or the Delhi and the Pondicherry. These two union territories have legislative assemblies, and the members of these legislative assemblies, if they are elected directly, they can participate in the election process of the president. So we can understand who cannot participate. Who cannot participate? That is, all nominated members of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and MLAs or MLCs cannot participate in the presidential election. Next, what are the various powers of the president? He has executive powers, he has diplomatic powers, he has legislative powers, he has judicial powers, and also he has military powers. So these are various categories of powers which the president will have. Next, we have an article which will see as FICCI. So what is FICCI? FICCI stands for Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry. This is a non-government and not-for-profit organization. So FICCI is a non-government and a non-profit organization which have members from both public and private firms. So even the government firms can be represented in this FICCI organization, and even the private firms and its members can become members of the FICCI organization. Now we will see when it was established. It was established in the year 1927 by Mr. G.D. Birla and Purushottam Das Thakur. This organization was formed based on the advice of the Mahatma Gandhi. So Mahatma Gandhi has advised Mr. G.D. Birla and Purushottam Das to start a organization to promote the interest of the private persons and to promote the Indian businesses. Also, you should note that this is the oldest and the largest business organization in the country. Its members can be from government firms and also the private firms. So this is regarding the FICCI or the Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry. With this, we come to the end of this session. Share information about this initiative to your aspirant friends. Thank you.
Add-on solutions. Add-on desires.